game. We were ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
You know,
Did they have inside knowledge about COVID?
well, if Aurier's got anything to do with it, he's probably involved somewhere. You know, he was on.
Probably is. Let's face it. Yeah.
which would be why he thinks he's immune to it at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. Great haircut, Serge. Great haircut.
Well, that's all that matters, you see.
It does. It's just image. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought. I thought Nick Finney had a good question. So he said that's at Nick Finney 73. He said that we're notoriously slow starters. And this is basically the start of a mini-season. So on the other hand, it's given Jose a start to have a pre-season with us. So, you know, what's going to come out stronger for us? And he's hoping it's the latter. So he's just hoping that Jose's magic is going to wash over the players and they're going to come out, you know, all systems go against United on Friday. And I don't know. I just think my viewpoint is that before before the lockdown, we obviously had all the injuries, but we were all mentally shot as well. I think as players and probably fans, and for us to just turn it round without any games and just think it's going to be fine, I just think is wishful thinking.
So do you not feel that you know? I mean, we won't have had access to the type of training that Jose will have done, but he has had access to all the players. You know, without exception. I think maybe apart from Sonny when he was away for a couple of doing his military service, but he'll have had access to all the players. So he'll have had a chance to implement his playing style, his philosophy, his playing philosophy. So I wonder if now actually with this mini start, this is a chance really for a number of players to impress. We've got this unprecedented situation where we've had a pre-season, we've had a break, so we've had a break, now we've got like a pre-season, we've got like a little mini season. Yeah. I don't know if I'm not sure the exact timing of this, but I think that whilst we're playing the season, the transfer window will open, so we can probably. And FIFA have amended their rules to say that a player can play for 3 clubs within the season. Okay. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't understand. If players and clubs like Man City or whatever that don't necessarily need money to buy players, will they now go out, or Liverpool or whatever, will they now go out and think, right, well, we're faltering a little bit, we'll go out and buy someone because the transfer window's open and we can bring that player in? I don't like players like Jan, for example, whose contract runs out at the end of June, I think, right? Yeah. So so what happens for him, for the remainder of the season when he's effectively a free agent? Is he allowed to go? Does he stay and see out the remainder of the season? If he stays and sees out the remainder of the season, will he want to play and risk getting injured whilst he has no contract and no confirmation of a new club? Yeah. So I'd like to think. I mean, going back to Nick's question, I'd like to think that actually Jose will have an influence, and we will effectively perform, and that it kind of rolls in. There was a few other people that asked similar questions, about performance. How are we going to how will we perform? What's our expectations? Yeah. Simon Gray asked, what do we need to do to get Champions League for next season? Do we have a chance? Yeah. I don't really know how to say this guy's name, and you may have to help me out. Yeah. I don't know if he came via email, but it was Kamarad Rahava. Yeah. I think that's Rahava Buon, right? Yeah, and he said
Rahava Buon. Yeah. I said it exactly the same as you. Yeah.
Perfect. So he also asked, what happens if we finish outside of the top 4 this season,
Yeah.
what should be our target for next season? I personally, I mean, in my viewpoint, we should be, if we finish outside the top 4, we obviously Jose's aim will be to win the Premier League.
Yeah.
Really,
yeah,
he'll be aiming to do that. And I wonder if actually finishing outside of Europe, like in full stop, if we can't make the top 4, finishing outside of the European places, so that he can just focus purely on the Premier League.
I think that's a really good point because, and also we don't even know what's going to happen with European competition either. So, if you qualify, will there be a Champions League? Because if they're going to be cramming all these games together now, and then they're going to try and quickly get into another season, and then if there's another wave or other issues, then how does that affect things? Can you really realistically expect teams to be flying out midweek and coming back when there's a virus around? So, I haven't heard anything from UEFA on that with regards to the Europa League or the Champions League and what's happening.
Bollocks. Well, to be fair, Andy, I'm a bit disappointed because that's why you're here. I thought.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
I thought you had the inside track. With regards to Europe, I'm guessing that the governments will come to some kind of agreement in terms of waiving, certainly from a UK perspective, where they've said that they want a 14-day quarantine.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that they'll waive that for the players and and everything associated to that. You're fucked if you're allowed to go as a fan, because obviously you're going to need a month and a half for every match, like in terms of time out there, quarantine back.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, interesting. But I mean, your Danny THFC, he's not convinced that we're actually going to make the top 4 anyway. He basically said if we look at the remaining fixtures for clubs around us, so Leicester, Man United, Chelsea, Wolves, Sheffield United, and the other team that play down the road, it's going to be a tall ask for us to get top 4.
Yeah.
I mean,
if we play United on Friday and we lose, then I think that puts them 7 points ahead, and then we've got 8 more games to play, and you still got to get dislodge Chelsea out of that top 4. Of course, Man City might be banned, but then we don't even know what's happening with that. So it's the chances of actually just getting in there are pretty slim, however well we play.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So have you been looking at I don't know if you've looked at the fixtures that we've got left. I haven't really.
I haven't really. I only know about the next 2 because I just can't be bothered to look at the other ones at the moment. But it's only the next 2 because they're obviously quite close together as well. So we've got the Friday night against United, and then I think is it Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday the next week. It's Tuesday actually. We've got West Ham at home. So
okay, so both games are at home. Have we got any games that we're supposed to be away?
I'm just going to go on to Chrome and have a look.
I'm trying to work out. I don't know if you heard this thing about, So we're the next game, as far as I can tell, after that is Sheffield United. I might be wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
But we're playing at Bramall Lane. But I just wondered if, I wondered if we had a similar, why we didn't have a similar setup to what Liverpool have got. Where they're playing. It seems that they're playing all their home games at home, but all their away games will be played at a neutral venue.
Why is
that? Have you heard that?
No, I haven't heard that.
Well, I mean, they said it was for the big games, but and it's meant to be on police advice. But I mean, for me, it's a load of bollocks because if they're worried about Liverpool fans going to wherever the away game is, for whatever reason, then surely those same fans who would go to wherever the away game is would go to a neutral venue.
You would have thought. Yeah.
You know what? I don't understand that. I don't understand the logic. If anyone who is listening knows a Liverpool fan or knows someone of more intelligence than me with regards to this, I'd love to know what the actual logic is behind why the Liverpool away games will be held at a neutral venue, especially when they only actually need 2 games to win the league. You know, it's
exactly.
I mean, it's near on a foregone conclusion anyway, but yet still where they're trying to give them even more of a a fighting chance.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me at all. Yeah.
Interesting stuff. So hopefully someone can fill us in on that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Andy, we're coming to the end. We've been rambling on for a while.
We have, yeah.
So we're at that point where I guess we want to do some predictions on the game. So it's Man United, as you say. It's we're at home. We haven't played for a while. We have everyone back apart from Delhi, as far as I'm aware. Delhi's suspended, obviously. We don't know if the Premier League or the FA are going to make a late run and suspend Dyer as well for his. We still haven't heard it.
Friday morning.
Well, yeah, we haven't heard. I think they'll wait for him to be named in the squad and then they'll name in the team. Did we remember that time he climbed into the stands? Well, we forgot to actually tell you that he's suspended.
Yeah, that's right.
He's not had that meted out to him yet. But so, what's your thoughts? How do you think we're gonna do?
Well, so we lost the game against Norwich. I'm not talking about the training session. That was our last kind of game at home, wasn't it? So and that was terrible. So that was really bad. So I think that all things considered, everybody's reset now, aren't they? But United are going to come out and they're going to be using their pace from the start, no doubt. And I think it's all about us making sure that we don't get Lee Fernandez on the ball too much. We don't leave Pogba on the ball too much because he's back as well, I think.
Yeah.
Because both of them are really good passers of the ball. So, and that's what concerns me. I just don't think we have that kind of steel in midfield that, we've been lacking that for such a long time. So I feel it's going to be a struggle of a game, and I think they're going to win it 2-1.
Andy.
I know. It's not good, is it?
Your first prediction back and you're going for a loss, Andy.
Should we start again? Not the whole point.
No, you're committed now, son. You're committed. You're allowed to make a last-minute substitution on your prediction if you want. But if you feel that I stick with that if you want to, because if we end up losing and then you go, for fuck's sake, Steve, I told you, but you told me you convinced me to change my mind. So if you're happy to stick with that, I'm happy for you to go with that one. No worries.
Well, I think also psychologically, I'd rather think that way, because if we win, I'll just feel a whole lot better.
That's true. I like your thinking.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I'm not sure. I think what I think we've got going in our favour is that we're playing at home and there's no fans. And when we've been at home this season, it's been pretty toxic in terms of when things don't go our way and people get a bit moody and a bit moany. And there's not going to be any
relax a bit. Yeah,
they can relax a little bit. I think we've got a chance. Just before I'll just chuck this in here before we finish. There was Fraser on Twitter, and he wants to know if we think that Jose will park the bus for this.
The chances are pretty high.
Because he's a win at all costs type of person, isn't he? And he tries to find, his motto is to find a way. So I'm going with that. I think that Jose will find a way.
I'm totally okay with that. Yeah.
I'm going for, I don't know. I think I'm going to be fucking optimistic. Actually, I'm going to go for a 3-1. A 3-1. We're going through. Fuck it. I know. Fuck it. We're going 3-1. Like, you know,